guys have been to court, know how this works. All right, and then if I was the bailiff, I would say, you say, please rise. The Court of Lovelace County is now in session. Honorable Judge Lovelace presiding. Today is the case of Ohio versus Reese, and then as the judge, I would ask, is the prosecution ready?
Yes.
And is the defense ready?
Yes.
Okay, everyone can have a seat, please. Okay, we'll go ahead and have our first opening statement, please, from the prosecution. So either talk into that microphone or grab it if you want to stand in front of her.
We believe that Andy Reese is guilty of first-degree murder of Susie Reese and manslaughter of Mary. On the night of March 5th, 2011, according to Kelly, Andy's best friend, he was there playing cards until he left around 9:30 p.m. Upon leaving Kelly's, he arrived at the office around 9:45, according to the custodian, Larry. At 11:10, Andy claims he left the office, but no one can account for the time he left, though Larry thought this was odd because he always said bye before he left. Larry also states Andy seemed a little preoccupied that night. Andy says he pulls into the drive at 11:30. Andy says he was knocked unconscious until he called police at 11. According to the coroner, Mary, Ruth, and Susie were killed between 11:30 and 12:30 a.m. There is a 2-hour time frame where Andy could not be accounted for it. And with the evidence of his skin under Mary's fingernails and Andy's hair particles on Susie, we believe that's enough evidence to claim that he isn't the murderer.
Okay, thank you. Okay, take our opening statement from our defense.
Andy and Susie Reese had a good marriage, or so it appeared. Mr. Reese had provided everything for Susie. He worked very hard for many hours a day so that he could continue to support her, but Susie had grown ungrateful. Susie Reese had been having an affair with Mr. Reese. Mr. Reese had been disloyal. Miss Reese had been disloyal to the man who loved and provided for her. But poor Mr. Reese remained clueless. Mr. Reese is the vice president of Singer's Publishing Company. Susie's father had appointed Andy at the position because of his hard-working and trustworthiness. Mr. Reese was known for his gentle personality, being healthy, and his wit. In fact, Mr. Reese didn't smoke and did not own a gun. In fact, the night of Susie's and Mary's murder, Mr. Reese once again was at work. The custodian, Larry, saw Mr. Reese go to his office at 9:45. So how could this hardworking man be possibly committed these murders without being present? The night of March 5th, 2011, when Andy arrived home, he saw a stranger in his house. Mr. Reese had been knocked unconscious to wake up to find his wife he loved so dearly to be dead. Mr. Reese was found with an injury to his head. So how could he possibly have caused an injury to his own head? He couldn't. Mr. Reese could not have planned the murder of Susie Reese because he was at Kelly Mullins that night playing cards. Around 9:45, Larry saw Andy enter his office. So can it really be possible for Andy to have committed these murders? The evidence says no.
All right, prosecution, go ahead.
You know that's going to be on there now,
We
right?
would like to call the coroner to stand.
truth, nothing but the truth. We'll turn on that microphone for you.
Would you please state your name?
I'm Josh.
What part do you play in this case?
I'm the coroner. I examined Mary's and Susie's bodies.
How long have you been a coroner for?
10 years.
What time do you believe Mary Jones' body was killed?
Between 11:30 and 12:30 a.m.
How did you determine what time the bodies were killed?
By taking their liver temperature.
What do you think the cause of Mary's death was?
Single shot to the forehead by a .38 caliber handgun.
After examination of the body, was there any significant findings on Mary?
None that I could find.
When do you believe Susie Reese was killed?
Between 11:30 and 3 a.m. and 12:30 a.m.
Can you explain how Susie was killed?
There were severe lacerations to her neck and her upper torso. This caused severe blood loss.
What does the term, what does this mean in layman's terms?
It basically means that her throat was cut and she bled to death.
Were there any other significant findings on Susie?
There were smaller lacerations found on the victim's arms and right thigh, which means that she probably struggled with her attacker.
Any other findings?
Yes, there was, under the victim's fingernails, there was remnants of human flesh, and there was also hair samples found on her.
Do you know whose the flesh was?
After extensive testing, it matches Andy Reese's.
That's all the questions.
You said that Susie died by lacerations to her neck, correct?
Yes.
Is it possible to tell what direction it was cut from?
Right to left?
Right to left. That would mean that a left-handed person would have had to slit her throat, correct?
Correct.
Are you aware that Andy Reese is right-handed?
No.
So could a right-handed person have possibly slit her throat in that direction?
Possibly yes.
No further questions.
Anything else? Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, remember to